I'm on a new schedule. I'm getting up early at 5. My mother is in a skilled nursing facility, not being cooperative. So I'm challenging myself to get up at 5 a.m. every morning so that I can get there for breakfast at 8 a.m., get her up, get her dressed, and get her out to the dining hall because she's not working with the staff. But she'll listen to me. She won't listen to the staff, though. So I have a new schedule, getting up earlier, and that's okay. It's good for me. I have a busy day today. And my puppy's back home. Fat boy, come here. Come here. Come say hi to our viewers. Come here. Come here. Fat boy was hit by a truck the other day. I didn't even know. Him and his mommy were sitting on the front porch and they took off. I found them 20 minutes later and he was acting weird, so I took him to the vet. We didn't know what had happened, but my bank teller told me about a Facebook page, a local Facebook page in the community I live in, of pets, dogs and such, and that someone had posted about 2 dogs that fit my description being hit by a truck. Luckily, only one of them was. And it was my little fat boy. He has fractured ribs, and he had air in his lungs, and he has contusions on his lungs. The woman who saw the initial accident, I spoke with her. She said it's a miracle he's alive, that he flew up in the air 10 feet, landed and went rolling, and was limp, and she doesn't know how he's even alive. But he is. And he's home. And he's definitely not his old self yet, which is to be expected. We go back to the vet in 2 weeks. Oh, baby. Yeah. My baby boy. My baby boy. His side is shaved here. He had some x-rays done. He had blood work done. Yeah. They have a license plate of the person who hit him and took off. And I did file a police report. I'm not looking for, to stir up any trouble. It'd be nice if he would just reimburse me for the vet bills, which are not cheap. And they're ongoing. Fat Boy will be returning in 2 weeks. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, my poor puppy. Yeah. Anyway, miracles. This is a big miracle. He should, by all accounts, be dead. And you're not, are you? But he was very traumatized. His liver levels were high just from the shock. I didn't know that could happen when you're in shock. But that's how significant it is to our body when we're in shock, when traumatic things happen. Yeah, my baby boy. My baby boy. Oh, my little baby boy. Okay, so we left off at the 4th house, which is the 1st and 4th chakra. And the 1st chakra is our root chakra, which is by our tailbone, location by the tailbone. Root chakra, all is one. Power, groundedness, strengths, family identity, bonding, loyalty. Shadow side of our root chakra, if we're not working on it, excluding others, prejudice, illusions of superiority. That's the 1st chakra. 1st and 4th chakra. 4th chakra is the heart chakra, which makes sense because this is under the sign of Cancer. My son was a Cancer, July 19th. My dad was a Cancer, July 22nd. Very loving human beings. Very emotional. So yeah, the heart chakra, 4th chakra. Cancers. What does it say here? What are my notes? My notey notes. Love is divine power. Love and compassion. The strengths of the heart chakra are forgiveness, dedication, inspiration, hope, truth, and the ability to heal. When you're not working on your shadow and it's out of whack, shadow aspects are jealousy, anger, resentment, and inability to forgive. Okay, the fourth chakra. The fourth house corresponds to Cancer, the first of the 3 water signs in the zodiac chart. Water is the element associated with our emotional nature. So the archetype that resides within your 4th house has the strongest influence on the foundation of your emotional nature. Your self-expression, be it as an individual or through creation, needs to be grounded to have a home. The 4th house is connected both with the home you came from and with your present home. The word or image home clearly has many meanings, and in the dream state, it is often associated with the true residence of the heart, of your deepest passion in life. The theme of home that rules this house includes your connections to both your biological and extended families. This reminds me, did photography when I was in my 20s, and one of our projects was to take a picture that reminds you of home. And I struggled so much with this project because I've never had a place that feels like home, but as I've grown older and have learned that home is within me, I am my home. But I didn't know that before. I was looking for an external home. It was a very challenging project. I ended up taking pictures of a location that I spent a lot of time at when I was younger on the waterfront, Gate 6, the cooperative community of Gate 6, which has now been totally, I'm not going to say destroyed, but rearranged, and the community there has been encouraged to look a little more civilized to fit in with the surrounding area. But when I was growing up there, it was a waterfront with artists and, people who some society would look down on. Artists, funky little houseboats. It was a fun place to be. So anyway, see, the archetypes that reside in this house is the one that has the leading influence on the emotional energies associated with all that represents home to you, because the 4th house relates both to your family roots and to your emotional life. It corresponds to the energies of your 1st and 4th chakra. The challenging aspects of the 4th house can include toxic memories and emotions, the consequences of which can be depression and melancholy. When I am working with a person who has unfinished business from painful childhood experiences, which is very common, I refer to the archetype in that person's 4th house as my main source of insight for beginning a dialogue. A woman named Lydia, for example, was coping with the memory of a drug-addicted mother who often left home for months at a time. When Lydia's mother was home, she would manage to stay clean for anywhere from a week to 3 months. But inevitably, she turned again to drugs. Lydia told me several stories about how her mother returned from a bender only to make off with any item in the house that she could sell for drug money. One time her mother returned to their home while Lydia was in a class at her local college, gathered up all of Lydia's personal belongings that might be of value, and sold or battered or bartered them for drugs. After that, Lydia did not agree to see her mother for 7 years. When I met Lydia, she was 28 and had yet to reconcile with her mother. Lydia radiated the energy of someone who could show the child within people with abundant compassion. Yet she had a capacity to feel the hurt. Whew. Yet she had a capacity to feel the hurt in others and was constantly motivated to help them. It helped her greatly to note that her mother archetype resided in her fourth house. One way to interpret this alignment was to suggest that mothering others, including her own mother, would be central to her life's journey. Lydia's husband, whom she married at age 26, lavished love on her and felt that she was his ideal mate. "I love this woman beyond anyone," he told me. "The moment I saw her, I knew that she would be my wife and the perfect mother to our children, and that is exactly what she is, the perfect wife and the perfect mother." The challenge of the fourth house is to complete the unfinished business of our childhood years and to establish healthy homes for ourselves as adults. You have a choice between handing down to your children and loved ones your family wounds and patterns of negativity and passing on to them optimism and love of life. Healing your personal history so that you do not pass on your own wounds is therefore essential to creating a healthy home for yourself and your family. The fifth house, creativity and good fortune, and that is our sixth chakra, which I left the description on my altar. But the sixth chakra is your third eye, pineal, which is spiritual life. The sequence of fire, earth, water, and air is repeated twice in the zodiac archetypal wheel. Leo, the second fire sign, is aligned with the fifth house, which rules creative expression, sexuality, children, and good fortune. This is also the house of love and spontaneity, of abundance and opportunity. The archetype that resides in this house is the one that represents the strengths that you should most rely on to make things happen. The fifth house. I'll have to look at my natal chart. After grounding yourself with a home base, you instinctively move on to exploring the power of creativity and the creation of life. Because the fifth house rules creativity, it corresponds to the sixth chakra, which regulates intelligence and imagination. The shadow aspect of the fifth house manifests as the expression of creative or sexual fire out of control, as in the misuse of sexual power or creativity for selfish or manipulative ends. One can use creative talent for unethical or illegal activities, or for sexual seduction and manipulation. I remember a man named Will who had the most outrageously wonderful personality. He was the incarnation of charisma, and everyone adored his company. Will made people feel that anything was possible, and he could see the light in even the darkest situation. The archetype in residence in Will's fifth house was the child, And he was exactly that, almost a fairy tale figure who inspired people to see the good life. Whenever events caused Will to slip out of a sweet atmosphere of his childhood innocence, he would imagine himself as a child again. He also would become an imaginary father to his child's memory and could comfort this child by walking him through the years of his life. Will the parent would point out to Will the child how frightened he had been at age 6 about something, and how by age 8 it had worked out all right. He summoned up his imaginative ability by saying, "When I slip, I return to my inner place by reminding myself of all the many ways everything worked out without me having to do a thing. Someone is watching over me, because I sure can't organize all the things in my life. That's the message I love to share with the others, no matter where I am. And as someone who runs a fairly large corporation, I can tell you that this attitude is in short supply." The need to create is an essential aspect of the consciousness and spirit, but to define and determine our creative ability by our professional accomplishments, even artistic ones, is an illusion. Will embodied the energy of creativity in his highest expression because he channeled the electricity to jumpstart the spirit of everyone he met. He also represents another profile of creativity, the creative nature of the self that does not have to do something outside of itself in order to be recognized or validated. The sixth house, occupation and health, which is our second chakra, which is the sacral chakra, which is honor one another, creativity and strength, survival instincts, fight or flight, and resilience. The shadow is using and disempowering others. Okay. The sixth house, occupation and health. The sixth house corresponds to your second earth sign, which is Virgo, and rules your occupation and health. The earth energy of Virgo differs from that of Taurus in that its focus is on grounding you as a person to the main work of your life rather than on the physical cycles of nature of the second house. The focus of this house on occupation is survival oriented, and the archetype that resides here influences how you seek out paths of security. When you are in the midst of a business transaction, for example, your sixth house archetypal pattern will play a very prominent role in the way you interpret business-related conversations and opportunities. The challenge of the sixth house is to balance work and health. An archetype might indicate unhealthy or destructive habits that do not serve your physical well-being, or it might indicate how you negotiate your ethics and morals for the sake of financial and job security. Because this house is involved with money and values, it most closely corresponds to the second chakra. A woman named Kathy chose the detective archetype as one of her 12 patterns, and it ended up in her sixth house. Kathy said that she had chosen the detective because she had a natural talent for solving mysteries. Unfortunately, she directed this talent into a shadow aspect, spying. She even admitted to having an attraction to voyeurism, although she labeled it merely a fascination. Whenever Kathy felt insecure, which was frequently, either by choice or weakness, she would use that feeling as an excuse to rifle through the files and personal belongings of her coworkers in search of memos or other communications. She claimed she was looking for evidence of plans to undermine her position in the office. I asked Kathy if any of her efforts ever paid off by proving her case. Well, no, she said, but so much the better. It's very comforting to learn that you are secure at work. When I asked Kathy how long she had this need to play detective, she said that from her earliest memories she recalled feeling compelled to sneak around to find out as much as she could about everyone, from parents and friends to colleagues. She admitted that she had once been fired after being caught going through someone's desk. Kathy was so convinced that people were spying on her that she felt she had to spy on them for her own protection. I recommended that Kathy consult a therapist, and although she said she would, I could tell that her sense of safety resided in her feelings that she could discover others' secrets. Kathy's story illustrates how we unconsciously influence the health of those around us. Her paranoia was felt by her coworkers and subtly influenced their own well-being. Ask yourself on a regular basis, how does my behavior influence the health of those around me? This question is a natural bridge to the seventh house, in which your health, including the healthy or unhealthy views you hold about life and other people, become part of what you bring into all of your partnerships. I think that is a really important question. How does my behavior influence the health of those around me? This question is a natural bridge to the seventh house, in which your health, including the healthy or unhealthy views you hold about life and other people, become part of what you bring to all of your partnerships. Interesting. The seventh house, Virgo. Is that the seventh house? No, that's the sixth house, Virgo. Okay, so now I'm going to read the archetype that we left off at, which is, oh boy, where did we leave off at? Hero and heroine, also knight warrior. Many of the gods of the world's ancient religions began their lives as heroes capable of great feats of strength or skill. The hero is also a classic figure in the ancient Greek and Roman literature, often portrayed as one who must confront an increasingly difficult path of obstacles in order to birth his manhood. Today, this archetype holds a dominant position in the social mind as an icon of both male and female power. From the superheroes of comic books such as Superman and Wonder Woman, to television and countless movies and popular novels. In the classic hero's journey, as defined by Joseph Campbell and others, an individual goes on a journey of initiation to awaken an inner knowing or spiritual power. The self emerges as the hero faces physical and internal obstacles, confronting the survival fears that would compromise his journey of empowerment and conquering the forces arrayed against him. The hero then returns to the tribe with something of great value to all. From a shadow perspective, the hero can become empowered through the disempowerment of others. The manner in which the hero uses his physical power is a reflection of the spirit of the hero, represented through authentic acts of heroism. Films: Sigourney Weaver, Alien; Dustin Hoffman in Hero; Jeff Bridges in The Last American Hero; Kevin Costner in The Postman and Waterworld; Debbie Reynolds in The Unsinkable Molly Brown; Seema Biswas as Bulan Devi in Bandit Queen; Religion, Myth: Ulysses, hero of the Odyssey, whose most renowned trait of his supreme resourcefulness, the ability to find a way out of the most dangerous situation. Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. His questioning of his hero warrior role leads the god Krishna to instruct him in divine wisdom. Hidasato in Japanese legend, a killer of many monsters, including the feared centipede. Sende, a hero trickster of the Native American Kiowa tribe. Paul Bunyan, legendary hero of the lumber camps of the American Northwest, whose feats included creating the Grand Canyon by dragging his axe behind him. Theseus, Athenian hero who slew the Myrthanian bull and minotaur. Bernardo del Caprio, 9th century Spanish hero, credited with defeating Roland at Roncesvalles. And that's it for today. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Hasta mañana.